I believe this is the main question that I should be asking you folks. Based on the title, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Maybe you'll give me your answer by the end of this video. But let's dive into it. So we got two couples, and both of them right now seem to be on the brink of a breakup. Actually, no, that's a lie. One of them has said that, yes, we are no longer together. Meanwhile, another one is legit filing for divorce. But let's dive into all the details that we have. So when it comes to Patrick and Thias, now this is the bigger story here. As reported by TMZ, Patrick Mendes divorcing Thias wants sole legal custody of their kid. Now, to be fair, when I first came across the title of them wanting, or him wanting sole custody of their kid, it made me think of something. In the last couple of months of this year, all I've seen Thias do on her social media is post pictures of herself, videos of herself, time and time again, going out and having a good time with her girlfriends. Okay? And listen, I thought nothing of it. I thought, well, obviously, has anyone in this world, even when you are a parent, sometimes you can obviously once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, you're more than entitled to go out, have a good time with your friends. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be at home all the time being a parent, especially if you're somebody that is fortunate enough to have people around you who can look after your child. Now, of course, this is where things get interesting, because why is Patrick asking for sole custody? Has Thias been neglecting her responsibilities as a mother? But let's dive in. Now, it says here that Patrick Mendes wants out of his 4-year marriage with Thias and sole legal custody. Okay, and when TMZ obtained the documents that Patrick filed this week, well, it says that he's asking for sole custody and primary physical custody of the 3-year-old daughter. And to be fair, it's not all the time necessarily men go out of the way to do this part. And usually sometimes the women are more the ones that do this part. But in this one here, he's the one that wants sole custody. Not even a 50-50. But hey, maybe that will change. It continues here by saying, according to the court papers, Patrick makes twice as much as Thias. And because he's making 10k a month and she's pulling in 5k a month, he's not asking for child or spouse support in any shape or form. I mean, that's great of him. Absolutely great of him. Because obviously, I guess for him is, he only cares about the divorce and only cares about the well-being of his child. He doesn't care about any of the other things. So I like that, despite the fact that he has requested for some other things that are not relevant, to be honest with you. But he does say here that in the divorce documents, Patrick says that Lisa has been living with him since May 6. Now, I'm assuming that must have been on May 6 of 2026, even though it doesn't say the year. But who knows, maybe it is from last year. Listing a different address than previous one he shared with Thias. So therefore, it's clear that obviously he has moved out, or at least indicates that he has moved out and he's been looking after his child, or their child, mostly by himself, or if not all by himself. After appearing on 90 Day Fiance, and also the spin-off show Happily Ever After, we know that these two are coming back for The Last Resort, which is going to make things even more interesting. Then also it says here that no word on why they're splitting. The papers simply say it's because they are incompatible. Now again, this goes back to the question, are you surprised that this has happened? I will let you know whether I am shortly. Also continues by saying a rep for the couple tells TMZ, out of respect for everyone involved, we believe it's important to not jump to conclusions or to contribute to speculation before all facts are properly clarified. Domestic matters can be deeply emotional and complex, and we encourage compassion, privacy, and due to process for all parties involved. Our focus right now is simply ensuring that everyone is safe and supported. We appreciate the public's understanding and also respect regarding their family and personal privacy during this time. Not gonna lie to you, out of respect for everyone, whoever wrote this or whoever said this is an idiot. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I did not think for one moment that this had anything to do with domestic matters. I literally thought maybe it's the case of where they've just ended up not being compatible, and Thias has decided to go and spend time with her friends more than being there as a mother, and therefore Patrick is now wants sole custody because he's had to look after their child without her support for said amount of time. Not once did I think about domestics. So how can you sit there and say, out of respect, we don't want no conspiracies? Because when it comes to domestic matters can be deeply emotional and complex, encourage compassion and privacy. So now I'm out here thinking, hold on a minute, so there's more to the story. Now, I really truly hope that there was no domestics involved. Truly hope there was no domestic involved. But based on what we have so far, if there has been, seems to me as if that domestic may have come from Thias rather than Patrick, because why would he be the one looking after their child? Why would he be the one requesting for sole custody? Primary physical custody of their child. That says a lot. Says a lot. Now, am I surprised that this divorce has come? I am a little bit. When I first met this couple, I thought to myself, nah, these two are not going to last. But then they proved me wrong because they lasted. And even when they came back to happily ever after, they still looked stronger than before. So I was thinking to myself, nah, these two are clearly going to be in a good place for a long time. But then again, at the same time, let me tweak that a little bit. I thought to myself, well, Thias is clearly enjoying his money because, to be fair, I always thought from the very beginning that she was doing more for the money than for him. And that thought never changed. But then I also thought at the same time that she was comfortable with the salary that this man earns and the life that she's able to have because of him. So therefore, she's never going to leave really and truly. But I guess girls now got money coming in their own pocket and she's now out here living the vida loca with all of her girlfriends that maybe she's now enjoying the attention from other people. And now she's like, F it, I'm done. Who knows? Who knows? But there's more to the story though, you see. When it comes to the divorce itself in particular, that's one thing. But when it comes to Patrick as an individual, well, as reported by Sarcasm instead, Patrick Mendes sued for $141K debt prior to divorce filing. Now this is where things get even more interesting. It appears that 90 Day star Patrick Mendes was swimming in debt when he filed for divorce from his wife Thias on May 20. According to the court documents, Patrick was sued by 2 credit card companies and a bank last year for debts totaling up to $141K. The 3 civil suits were filed within a 9-week period between February and April of 2025. The first complaint was filed by American Express on February 6, 2025. According to the documents, Patrick racked up $29,000. Let's just round it up here. $29,000 using the credit card account for the acquisition of goods and services, cash advances, and balance transfers. Interesting. A default judgment in favor of American Express was entered in September 2nd in the amount of $29,000, just to round it up. Okay, $29,000. Okay. Then also continues here by saying that another bank called Trust Bank, doing business as a Lightstream, filed their own complaint 4 days after American Express. According to that filing, Patrick took out a loan from Lightstream. At the time of filing on February 6, 2025, he owed $83,000. Nuts. The documents do not provide any information about the type of loan or what it may have been for. The Lightstream website indicates they provide loans for a wide range of things, including cars, weddings, home improvements, and pre-K-12 financing. I have no idea what pre-K is, to be fair. Let me know if you know what that is. A default judgment was entered against Patrick in this case on August 4th. The total of the default judgment with the interest, cost, and fees was $85,000. On April 10th, 2025, JP Morgan Chase Bank filed their complaint in regards to a credit account Patrick hadn't made a payment on since February 2024. The total amount owed on the account when it was charged off by JP Morgan Chase Bank in September of 2024 was $30,000. $30,000 freaking dollars. A default judgment of $30,000 was filed against Patrick on June 25th of 2025. Despite the massive amount of debt Patrick owes, there is no indication he has filed for bankruptcy. Perhaps he is waiting until after the divorce is finalized. Patrick and Thias Mendes will be on the upcoming season, obviously, as we already know. Okay. So here's the thing though. I wonder if these filings are going to affect him when it comes to the divorce or affect him when it comes to wanting sole custody with his child. With their child? I don't know. But again, there's a lot going on right here, folks. A lot happening. And boy, all I know is this. I hope that the divorce itself in particular goes down smoothly. And I also hope that when it comes to the co-parenting after the divorce is done, is also going to be done in a way that is sensible. I just hope this whole thing is going to happen in a way that is just best for the child. That's it. But so far, Patrick only seems to care about the child. Based on the fact that he doesn't want no money from her in any shape or form. He just wants to just bounce and take a few things with him. Which is fine. So give me your thoughts. Are you surprised? I wonder if him and his debt has anything to do with her maybe even leaving. Who knows? So much going on, folks. But now we're going to move on to something else. Jovi and Yara. Jovi was simply asked this question here. Are you separate from Yara? He responds by saying yes. Now, the thing is, though, when it comes to Jovi, and also this was uploaded by According to Amber, so shout out to you. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Jovi, he's not really a trusted source when it comes to this whole breakup stuff. Because this isn't the first time that he's been asked, or it's not the first time he's indicated, or the first time he has directly said, yeah, we are broken up. He has done this in the past, and they haven't broken up. They haven't separated. So it's very hard for us to believe this to be 1000% true. So therefore, I can only take this with a pinch of salt. But then at the same time, what we do know is that when it comes to Jovi and Yara, as of late, they have not been posting things together. They have been posting things individually. And usually they do a reel together every now and then of a little comedy thing regarding themselves. So maybe there is truth to it. But again, though, yeah, I question if there is. This is similar to Patrick and Thias, where I'll be surprised if it does happen, but at the same time, I won't be surprised because of how long they've lasted for. Do you know what I mean? So there is that question. But hey, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on it. Interesting stuff, folks. Absolutely interesting stuff. But also, let's move on to Tony. Tony and Vanja. Now, when it comes to the most recent episode of The Tell All, there was questions that were asked regarding Tony and Vanja, especially when it came to the word love. Somebody on Reddit noticed something and decided to point this out. They said, Tony said, once I fall in love with her, no one on set, including Vanja, caught it. I was sure I'd find that someone had already made a post about Tony's choice of words when they were talking about how Vanja was upfront about not wanting kids. And then 1 hour exactly into the show, Tony thinks that while having kids might make him happier or make him happy, at times also thinks he doesn't need them until he goes through parties and people are spending time with kids. I'm not too sure what this person wants to say. Let me reread that again. Maybe I'm reading that incorrectly there, but that didn't make sense to me, folks. I do apologize. Let me restart from this point here. Tony thinks that while having kids might make him happy, at times also thinks maybe he doesn't need them until he goes to parties and people are spending time with kids. Then there has a heartache. Okay. But maybe it's not going to be an issue anymore. Once I fall in love with her and we become this magic couple, then it's still in the back of my mind. Pardon me, roll that back. He actually said once I fall in love with her, which means that 8 months he still does not love her. No one on set, including Vanja, caught that. Interesting. Now I'm going to go back to the thing regarding the parties and spending time with people, kids, blah, blah. The moral of the story is this. When it comes to having children, all women should always remember this one specific fact. Let me rephrase that. All women that actually want to be mothers and actually care for their kids, remember this fact. When you have a child, you will always be the primary parent, right? So therefore, them having a child, would it affect him going to parties or doing this and the other? Absolutely not. Men still go out and do their things anyway. I always said this. Women are by default single mothers, but when they give birth, even if their partner's around, you see what I'm saying? But then again, some women have partners that are really around, you see what I'm saying? Which is even better. Either way, though, the question is, what are your thoughts on this? Now, somebody came in and said, I didn't really think that Tommy was in love with her to begin with, nor did I. So that's probably why I didn't even process this comment. She had to pursue him into being his girlfriend, exactly, on the boat, and laid out all the reasons why, which is crazy. She is far too flighty, and they keep trying to fit a circle into a square peg. Listen, there you go. So to be fair, that went over my head too. Purely because I'd never seen any love from this guy, any love from their relationship. Their relationship is always showing it to be nothing but a calamity. So I should have noticed it, but I'm not upset that I didn't notice it, if you know what I mean. Either way, though, what is your thoughts on that? Do you think the power of words really matters right now when it comes to the fact that he says, when I fall in love with her? It probably does, based on how long they've been together, based on the fact that she wants to get married, based on the fact that he proposed the idea of them buying a home together, based on the fact that he's always trying to control everything that she does, based on the fact that he doesn't let her go to certain dance groups anymore, you would think that love has something to do with it at some point. But here's the thing, though. People like him Do they even know how to love? People that like to control their spouse, I don't think love really matters. To them, it's just control. So even when they use the word love, they're probably using the word love just to control their spouse, not because they generally still love their spouse. And it's crazy because you see, on the last episode before the tale, Vanja does speak about the fact that the word love has been used, I'm pretty sure. Either way though, let me know your thoughts and we can most certainly talk about it. With that being said, don't forget to, like the video, hype the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the comment section. Have a great day.